tackle football is appropriate. Heterosexual men voted the most support for kids doing football, and conservatives were more likely to support youth tackle football. Just saying.
So I don't think it'll turn people away.
Football's for straight males that voted for Trump. Trump likes football? Well, then football must be for Nazis. So as per usual, we're going to leave it up to the ladies of The View, those cackling idiots, the dumbest people, not just dumbest women, the dumbest human beings that have a platform on television. Some might say I'm the dumbest person to have a platform, but my platform's not that big. It's not that high up. I'm not quite on my high horse like they are. But for those of you that don't know, there was a football player named Damar Hamlin. He was a safety for the Buffalo Bills. And in a game this week, primetime, Monday Night Football, he made a tackle, a relatively routine tackle. There was no blunt trauma to his head or any of that nature. It was a tackle that you see dozens of times a game, every week. And after the tackle, he rolled through it, stood up relatively quickly as you would to basically, do what players do, celebrate a tackle, and then suddenly collapsed, smashing his head off the ground because his heart stopped. Now, we're not going to get into the things that can get this channel banned for what I think is going on. Personally, the same thing that's happening with a lot of athletes around the world, where all of a sudden over the last 2 years, we've seen this spiking in cardiac arrest in these young, healthy athletes who all of a sudden now have these weak hearts. You can talk about certain side effects of certain things that have caused heart issues in people that just didn't exist at the rate at which it does now. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to focus on the takes of the people who clearly don't watch football and why that's so frustrating for someone like me who, from the time I was 7 years old until the time I was about 19, played football, and I was all right. I was pretty good. I currently coach football at the youth high school level, and I've been watching it for 30 years. And to see people have these takes is very frustrating. It's even more frustrating when you get these talking heads who are constantly trying to find ways to blame conservatives, to blame Trump supporters, to blame Republicans. And The View somehow, some way, manipulated this tragic story of a 24-year-old safety nearly losing his life, currently in critical condition as of this recording. Don't know if he's going to pull through or not. But they found a way to make it an anti-conservative rant. If you don't believe me, well,
right? I mean, my kid played football. He was recruited for college, and he got a terrible hamstring injury getting hit. And I saw him collapse to the ground. Thank you. And he went through physical therapy for 6 months. And he realized at that point, that could happen to my brain. Right. Yeah. And so he quit. And he quit.
I do like how Sonny Hostin, who is the dumb of the dumb, talked about cardiac arrest, a story about cardiac arrest, and made it about her son pulling a hamstring. And then somehow her son's pulled hamstring made him go like, oh, my brain is in jeopardy. Which, I'm sorry, I'm calling BS on that. I'll take things that never happened for 500, Alex. Thank you.
And it was a very hard thing for him because he loved doing it. Yeah. But I don't think it's going to turn people away from the sport because, I went to Notre Dame. It's like faith, family, football. It's a big deal, and it's a $105 billion industry. Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with it being a $100 billion industry. It has to do with the fact that this stuff just doesn't ever happen. It's not going to turn people away from it if people have any type of context or perspective that we know people like you will never give, which is the fact that it was a routine tackle that Damar Hamlin had nothing to do with his brain, despite the fact Sonny tried to make it about a brain injury. It wasn't. He doesn't get hit in the head. He doesn't even hit his head on the ground until after his heart's already stopped and he collapses. And you talk about faith, family, football. Yeah, there are places that are really passionate about football. College football is gigantic in the United States. They have 100,000 seat stadiums that get filled every single week just to watch these college football players play. But what you don't see is guys heart stopping. At the very least, it's not something that you saw before 2020. Now, I know that you people on The View, you ladies on The View, have a real issue with talking about the giant elephant in the room. And I know YouTube has a problem with us talking about the giant elephant in the room. But you guys know what the elephant in the room is here, right? Right? I mean, we can pretend like it's all these other things that happened to Damar Hamlin. Or we can maybe discuss the real possibility that this was related to something else. But please, Sonny, let's now pass it along to your other hosts and see how they can make this about something other than what actually happened on the field. I bet Joy Behar is going to do a great job.
Well, like 45% of Americans think that tackle football is appropriate. Heterosexual men voted the most support for kids doing football. And conservatives were more likely to support youth tackle football. Just saying.
So I don't think it'll turn people away from
Just saying. This is a conservative thing, and like, cause we don't like football. I don't even get football. Football kind of sucks. I think football's stupid, but of course conservatives would like football because they don't care about anyone. They want everyone to get injured. They want everyone to just die on the field. They love it when black players get hurt because they're conservatives. And heterosexual males. Let me tell you something about heterosexual males. Of course they would like football. Of course. So clearly, if you guys don't get what I'm trying to say, I, Joy Behar, am definitely trying to tell you that if you like football, you might be a straight male conservative. And nobody wants to be a straight male conservative. Football's for conservatives. Clearly, football's for straight males that voted for Trump. Trump likes football? Well, then football must be for Nazis. Are you a Nazi? No? Then we need to get rid of football. Oh my God. Football. Ugh. So do you believe me or not now that The View are the dumbest people on the planet, that the hosts of The View are complete and utter idiots? They tried to make Damar Hamlin's heart stopping. On, let's say, because of the tackle that happened, even though it's never happened before when a routine tackle happens. Let's just say it's because of that. We had Sonny Hostin trying to make it about her son's hamstring getting pulled in a game. He got hit, he collapsed with a hamstring injury, which some might say is a little bit different than collapsing because your heart stopped. But I mean, let's be empathetic to Sonny. It must have been so hard to watch our son pull a hamstring. And then, of course, Joy Behar points out that football clearly is something that's just for heterosexual male Republicans. So why would anyone want to watch it? Yeah, because, of course, I would expect pussy-ass liberal males to not like football. The only thing they probably like about football is how tight the pants are on the guys and how nice it makes our butts look. I mean, that's probably it. That's probably the reason. Is it the reason? Hey, liberal males, you tell me why you like football. Is it because of the kneeling during the anthem? You know how much guys like being on your knees. But that's all I got for today's video. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button and hit the subscribe if you haven't done so already. And leave in the comment section how dumb you think the women of The View are. Or maybe you think they're smart. And I want to know why you think they're smart and why you think anything they said, any of the points they made, the just sayings, had anything to do with anything. And I will see you guys next time.